Alright guys, what is up? My name is Ikizoid and hi, how are you? Now today we're going to be doing something that has been highly requested, and that is doing a small series of trying out the different routes in the Andromeda 6 DLC called Star-Crossed Lovers. Now I have already done the June route and the Damon route, so today we're going to be doing one of the other characters. And in the meantime, if you guys are interested in visual novels in general or in Andromeda 6 in particular, I highly suggest that you click that subscribe button down below so you can get notified for all of my future videos. And by the way, I did get a new gaming chair. I don't know if you guys can see. It's my first ever gaming chair. If you're looking for like an ergonomic chair, I highly recommend the Cougar ones. They're really good. We just got this one today and we built it, me and my boyfriend, and it's super comfy. It was a really interesting building process because they do deliver it to you disassembled. But anyways, let's just get on with the game and start a new one. Enter your name. My name is Ziki. And choose your pronouns as always, she/her. And our species, I really love doing the Tillari species because they seem like the best out of them all, even better than humans. So let's just choose the Tillari, the gentle and intelligent alien race dedicated to their medical studies and nurturing way of life. So that is what I'm going to be choosing as a species. That is also RYONA's species. So Bash says, I'm telling you, I did it last time. And Ayame is like, you're lying, I haven't seen you do it in weeks. I stopped in my tracks, frozen, having stumbled upon an extremely heated argument between Bash and Ayame in the corridor. Bash's attempt at feigning innocence is failing miserably, and Ayame looks nothing short of pissed at whatever they're squabbling about. After having gotten to know them better over the past week or so, I am certain the topic of their argument could vary anywhere from someone having left a dirty sock on the floor to one of them having cheated in a mecha fight, which I would love to have a mecha fight with like a separate robot, that would be so fun. But they haven't noticed me yet, and I consider tiptoeing back to my room to keep it that way, but curiosity gets the better of me. Then maybe you should get your eyes checked, huh? Bash says. Maybe you should shut that fat mouth and quit lying. I love how I've forgotten this whole dialogue thing because I did the first playthrough of the DLC like a couple months back. So I have forgotten some of the things, but I really love how they squabble and like their little banter is really entertaining. I would like to see more of that in the main game as well. So that's a little idea for the developers if you're watching. I really enjoy the dynamic between Ayame and Bash, really cool. So Ayame pushes against Bash's chest, and by the twitch of his lips I can see he's holding back a grin. Somehow this only angers Aya further. Bash looks down at her, towering above the tiny Kitalphon, and I step in between them before she has the chance to murder him where he stands. Whoa, what's going on? Aya turns on me, the silvery ends of her hair whipping around her face as she does so. It's Bash's turn to do the laundry and he's trying to palm it onto me. Again. I'm telling you, little squirt, I did it last time. Ask Damon, he saw me. Aya scoffs at him like as if she's gonna believe Damon, So she folds her arms over her chest that sound dark and deliberate. Yeah, right, as if I would trust anything that comes out of his mouth. There we go, Damon is such a liar. Trust issues much, Bash asks. Have you met Damon? Well, Okay, stop fighting, we say. I step between the two of them to break it up, one hand on Bash's chest and the other on Ayame's shoulder to keep them from tearing each other apart. It seems harmless enough for now, but I'm worried things could escalate quickly where these two are involved. Why don't you just, flip a coin or something? Bash thinks for a moment and pats down his pockets, coming up empty, and Aya just shrugs. Letting out a defeated sigh, I try something else. Rock, paper, scissors then. I like the way you think, kid. Bash turns back to Aya, the tilt of his lips nothing short of cocky. Rock, lizard, robot? You're the only one who thinks that's a real thing. We're going classic this time. Fine with me. You ready to lose, Pocket Rocket? Bring it on, Tin Man. That's so funny. I smile to myself, feeling a little smug at having come up with an amicable solution, and I head back to my room to relax. Alright, oh my god, I'm having so much fun, honestly. So later that day, and I think this is going to be where we hear like a scream or something. So a shriek, there we go, a shriek wakes me up from the nap I have been taking, followed by the sound of heavy footsteps going past my door. I bolt upright, listening hard, though the noises disappear as fast as they came, and my heart pounds in my chest, wondering what the hell is going on. When I hit the button to slide open the door of my room with a trembling hand, I peek my head into the corridor, glancing around. Ooh, what could it be? And I definitely remember what it is. So to find nothing there we go. Letting the door shut behind me, I tiptoe through the corridors, ears strained for the smallest sound, voice, anything. A feeling of dread worms its way through my stomach. Something could have happened while I was sleeping. Something real bad. Oh yes. It's only when I get closer to the docks that I stop, pausing by the door to hear better. Voices are coming from the deck below me, so muffled that I could barely hear them, but they're there nonetheless. I descend the stairs slowly and carefully, trying my best not to give my presence away. But again, it's nothing devastating or bad. It's just, you'll see. If you haven't seen the first one, you'll see what I mean. So Calderon is like, whoever's responsible for this is going to have hell to pay. Let's just take a breath. Look at the facts, June says. As always, June is the most rational one, and he's the kindest one towards even a perpetrator of something. So RYONA says, June is right. Instead of jumping to accusations, let's handle this logically. Again, RYONA is also one of the more level-headed crewmates. And Damon says, or I could just bleed it out of him, you know. Damon. Alright, fine. No need to give me that look, Doc. The knives are already away. I don't care how, but we're settling this now. Recognizing the voices, I creep down the steps a little more, at last seeing the crew gathered in a sort of circle within the large space below. There's no one else there, no threat, no danger, nothing except the crew of the Andromeda Six themselves. Relief floods my lungs, releasing the breath I hadn't realized I had been holding. So, the hangar doors are open, giving a view of Oppo's junkyard behind them all, and the mid-afternoon sun hanging overhead. And then I noticed finally what seems to be the cause of the crew's distress. Their uniforms are all pink. From magenta to rose, raspberry to blush, the crew's uniforms have all been turned into a palette of various alarming shades of pink. I cannot hold back the bubble of laughter that escapes me, and when they finally notice my presence, the captain is the first one to scowl. Nice to see somebody finds this funny, Calderon says. Oh, come on, you all look so pretty. And descending the stairs, I come to a stop in front of them, arms folded over my chest. Damon, I may need to borrow that knife after all, he says. I knew you'd come to your senses eventually, Damon chimes in. And what a coincidence, I've got two on me right now. Wanna take turns or should we flank them? Whichever causes the most pain. As always, the two of them are like, so far off, gone within their anger that it's like kind of funny, even though it's a little bit threatening, but still. And June is asking like, how about we return to the problem at hand? I agree. You won't find me cleaning up the mess you two leave behind. Again. So it has happened before. I'm wondering whether we actually are in trouble, but I know that we're not, because you know, Calderon and Damon, they may seem very threatening at first, but they really have a very soft side to them that we are going to discover in some of these, you know, routes and in the main game as well. So settle down, you two, June says. The captain and his second in command narrowed their eyes at the level-headed pair, but surprisingly settled down from their plans to resort to violence. And Bash is like, alright, look, we can settle this like civilized people. Bash steps forward, shielding me from the captain's glacial glaze as well as Damon's undecipherable one. I raise an eyebrow when he steps behind RYONA, and it takes me more than a moment to catch onto his plan when he suddenly points his finger at Aya and the elves. It was her! Liar! And RYONA shrieks as she becomes the human shield between Aya and Bash, saved just in time from Aya's pounce as Calderon grabs the Kitalphon around the waist and drags her back, ignoring her hiss of fury. Bash lets out a sigh of relief, one that lasts all of 3 seconds before RYONA is on him instead, her long fingers locked around his bionic wrist. Sebastian, tell me the truth right now, RYONA says, and I love how she can be so stern, but also have a lot of fairness in her sternness, if you know what I mean. So she's a very fair person. So let's see what Damon says. I'm telling you right, knives are the way to go. At Damon's snarky input, RYONA and Calderon exchange a look, and a wave of amusement washes over me at the sight of them trying to rein in a bunch of badly misbehaved children. This is so fun. Well, there's no way in hell I'm going to be seen out there wearing this. And I don't know, Cal, I think it kind of suits you just a little bit. Keep calling me that, Damon, and I will make you regret it. Promise? One of these days, the two are finally going to get into an actual fist fight over one of those childish arguments, and I really don't want to get involved in your nonsense. Both of you to assume your involvement is needed. Cannot deny the thought of Damon laying down a fair fight is slim to none. All is fair in love and war. Calderon glowers at Damon with murder in his eyes, and June lets out a long sigh. Look at Calderon's face, oh my god. That is why I will be forced to intervene, June says. Now that wouldn't be fair. Alright, I really love the dynamic between all these characters. I really have forgotten how much I actually adore this game. But I really wanna finish this series because I wanna do all of the routes, all of the possible routes, and I might do the main game as well with all the different routes. We will see. Maybe I can do it in like different live streams if you guys are up for that. If you want that, just leave me a comment below, whichever you prefer, like a live stream or a video, or maybe like a long form video where it's like edited to be, you know, longer. But we'll see what we do. We're definitely going to be doing all of the routes for this DLC, so keep your eyes peeled for that. RYONA says, okay, stop, there should be some spare uniforms in the hold. As for these, she gestures to her dress and the pink ombre color that stains it. There's dry cleaners in the city. All we need to do is take them there and the problem will be solved. Obviously, Aya should go since she's the one who caused the problem in the first place. Sebastian, I swear by all of the gods, if you say that one more time, I'm gonna let you build that water tank just so I can freaking drown you in it. You know what? I agree with Ayame. We've heard enough from you already. Bash slams. I'm sorry, guys. Let me just drink some water. So we're back, and Bash slams the can against his chest in an exaggerated display of offense. And well, someone has to go. Any volunteers? Who would volunteer to do that? And sounds like you want the honor, Damon. Gotta pass on that. It is my day off. Oh, that one you so graciously gave me, remember? The scowl on the captain's face grows even deeper, regret practically dripping from him. And obviously he's gonna regret giving him a day off now that he... but Calderon definitely regretting giving him a day off, even though they should have days off, shouldn't they? I don't know. Definitely, I think. But we can say that we volunteer, and we can also pick another member, which is going to be choose for us which route we want to go down for this playthrough. So I still have not decided which one I want to do, but once we get the whole list of characters, I'm gonna pick one that is now June or Damon, because we already did that. If you guys haven't, if you guys missed those, I'm gonna be leaving a link down in the description to those videos. We have 2 different playthroughs of this DLC already, like I said, so I might as well get it over with. I cannot see any of them willingly giving up their free time to work on something as futile as laundry. It is not like I have anything better to do, and I did agree on pulling my own weight around here. I'll go, we say. I would like to see more of the city. This will be a good opportunity. The relief that flows to the rest of the crew is almost palpable at my response. Even Damon, who had mumbled something achingly similar to obviously under his breath, as I spoke up, seemed relieved. Someone stepped forward. That makes it easier. You're not going on your own, though. Here we go, Ayame says. Ooh, Aya mutters under her breath to the side, trying to make herself even smaller at that. Someone needs to go with you. I will give you the choice as to who. And oh my god, okay, so we have Damon and June already. I can be a little bit of a bitch, you know, and I can choose Calderon because he's like, oh, you pick, and I can be like, well, I pick you. But I think for this playthrough we're going to be choosing RYONA, so I will definitely be picking her. I think she's like a really interesting character. She's the one character that really stood out to me in the first playthrough of the main game. because she really looked like a mixture between an avatar and Geralt, or like Geralt. Oh my god, I'm sorry, Geralt from The Witcher. So that really, really struck me, and her personality is a very, very, very beautiful in its own way. She has been through a lot. I think she's really beautiful in general, like inside and out. So I would definitely be choosing RYONA, and in that case, maybe RYONA could join me. RYONA nods, and I notice with a certain sense of relief that she doesn't seem to mind that I have picked her. In fact, I would go as far as to say that she looked pleased with the decision. Oh, alright, give me 5 minutes to change and we will head off. Everyone peels off, each going their own way until I'm left on my own, leaning against a stack of crates where I drum my fingers as I wait. Time passes, seconds turning into minutes, and I grow more and more impatient. There is only so long that the stark metal walls of the ship can hold my interest. I am not certain how much time has passed exactly, but eventually it seems like more than what is needed for a simple outfit change. And now we're going to have the choice of like barging in while she's changing, or which is something that I don't really feel comfortable doing because like that is a huge invasion of privacy, or like privacy, whatever the word is. But let's see what we're gonna do. So pushing myself out of the crates, I carve a way through the docks and towards the upper level, where I last saw RYONA, coming to a stop in front of a small door located in the far wall. We can knock, obviously. It's been a while since she left to get changed, and I'm starting to worry. There's not a lot of trouble RYONA could have ended up on the ship, but we really need to get going if we expect to be back before dark. Raising a fist to the metal door in front of me, I knock a few times to announce my presence. RYONA? A few seconds pass with my ear pressed to the door, and when I don't hear anything from the other side, I try again. By the third time my fist has pounded against the cold steel, unease has settled like a weight on my chest, my forehead furrowed in concern. I hit the button beside the door to slide it open, letting my eyes adjust to the dim light as I waltz into the room and scan for any sign of her. And here we... Ooh, okay. Okay. That's a little bit of a... I did not expect to see her like this, but she's very beautiful. So she's like Ziki. The tone of her voice stops me in my tracks, and I see her scramble to pull her dress down, me having just walked in while she's still in the middle of changing. I'm almost ready. Her cheeks flush with color, and I feel like an absolute moron for having invaded her privacy like this. Yeah, I'll wait outside. And backing out of the hold slowly, I let the door slide close behind me before exhaling the breath I had been holding in. Once I'm safely out, I lean back against the cool metal wall, slapping a hand against my forehead. What an idiot! It takes a few minutes more before the door opens again and RYONA walks out, dressed like in a fresh uniform, barely a hair out of place. She's a very prim and proper person, very, very beautiful. So she smiles. Take a shot every time I say beautiful, and that's a drinking game all on its own, but whatever. She smiles at me, the picture of professionalism. There we go. Ready to go? I'm sorry for just barging in unannounced. She dismisses the apology with a wave of her hand. And no harm done, I'm sorry for keeping you waiting. There was a scuffle on the way out. I bite back a laugh as two names immediately come to mind, Bash and Ayame. I see, I have to ask who came out victorious, though I think I already know. Ayame packs a mean punch, that's for sure, but a little bruised scream had Bash patched right up. Okay, this time I don't hold back my laugh, imagining the scene all too well. Besides, when living on a ship with 6 other people, one has to be prepared for the lack of privacy. That is definitely true. So leaning in closer, she whispers the next part in an almost conspirational fashion. The things I've seen on this ship would shock you. Oh my lord. Oh, that sounds intriguing. Pulling back, she thinks for a moment, her face suddenly serious. I don't know if I should say anymore. I've never been one to gossip. And oh, we can say that, we can say it'll be our little secret, or I admire that, which is both of them are flirting options, or it's your choice, which is a very, a friendly option, but I do want to flirt with all of these crew members in separate little playthroughs. So I'm gonna flirt with her, but I'm going to be going with the, I'm guessing, this has been my guess from the main game, at first, is that there's first the friendly choice, then the medium flirty choice, and then the strongly flirty choice. So I'm gonna go with the I admire that flirting option. And you're a good friend, RYONA. It's an admirable quality. And she's blushing. Oh my god, she's so cute. She places a hand on my arm in gratitude, and the way she smiles at me has my head spinning slightly. I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. I have to admit, I don't always get it right. No, none of us get it right always, so it's fine. At least you try, your heart is in the right place, we say. She smiles at me, any previous indiscretions forgiven. Should we go? Yes, let us go. That's so sweet. I love her. She's really is like one of the best characters, even though I love literally every single one of them. They're so diverse in their personalities, not only in their looks. But I definitely really she's like up here, you know, for me, like one of those that are up here. So the docks are much more crowded than when I first came in here. It seems Oppo's crew has already loaded some boxes in here. I cannot help but wonder what they are. Food, medicines, spare parts, weapons. RYONA adds her clothes to the pack close to the door, closing it neatly after. She holds the bag of laundry up over her shoulder, but by the look of her face, it's a little too heavy, and before long she begins to struggle. And I'm gonna say, let me carry it. Yeah, I think we can carry it. I step towards her, reaching to take the weight of the bag from her shoulder. Let me carry it for you, we say. She smiles gratefully, letting the bag drop down between us. That's sweet of you, but I don't mind sharing the task. Let me find another bag and we'll divide it in half. That's actually a pretty smart thing to do. I mean, you can tell she has like a doctorate in something. So RYONA quickly locates another laundry bag, and with the pink uniforms now split between us, we head off. Now, we exit the ship, walking together into the bustling main hub of the city, the afternoon sun casting a warm glow over the buildings and streets we pass. It does not take us long to find the dry cleaners, which is a half block away from Oppo's club and hidden down a small side alley. I love how this is so much different, this playthrough, than when we played with June and with Damon. You know, there's very different, like, slight different shifts or, like, changes in the way that the flow of the plot, or like the flow of the story. I really am enjoying this. It does feel like a fresh, you know, playthrough. It doesn't feel recycled at all. I really am enjoying this. And the attendant behind the counter was about to close shop, but after a brief conversation with RYONA, he gives the apparel weaver brought him a strange look and instructs us to return in an hour, so we step back onto the streets looking for a way to kill the time. The city is packed. Street vendors, food carts, and dozens upon dozens of people in the streets spilling out of shop fronts and gathering down alleyways. Dried flowers petals lay scattered over the sidewalks, giving off a subtle floral scent, and the more I look around, taking in the sights, the more I get the feeling this isn't your typical day in Nose Vega. It is only when an interesting little band strikes up a song on a nearby street corner that I turn to RYONA, confused. What's going on? RYONA looks around, fascinated, her eyes lighting up at the sights surrounding us. I've heard of the festival before, though I've never actually seen it. This is incredible, she says. Festival? The festival of Valen. It is an ancient earth tradition, a day to celebrate love, which is a Valentine's Day, obviously. At first, I was like, Valen, well, that's really interesting, but then I was like, that's Valentine's Day, you know? So, love, huh? RYONA giggles, her mouth covered by a hand. I know it sounds kind of strange, but I've always wanted to experience it at least once. Do you mind if we take a look around? Of course not. Of course not. Definitely want to, like, spend an hour at this festival with her, so it sounds like fun. Let's check it out. She beams at me, her skin glowing with a gesture and her eyes bright. If you guys remember, she's Telari, which is also the species that we chose. And Telari have this special like ability or like special thing about them that they actually, their skin glows or dims down depending on what emotion they are feeling, which is really, really interesting. And I really like that little feature. So it doesn't take long to see why the festival fascinated her. As she leads me through the sights and sounds that have more than stoked my curiosity, I look around with a growing interest. All around us people are dressed in similar colors and outfits, a sea of pink, red and white. Beautiful Catalfan women with wicker baskets tow handful of dried petals through the air, and human and alien children run through the streets with long sticks emitting pink and purple scented smoke. The air smells sweet like sugar and cinnamon, and when we passed a cart full to the brim with different flowers like fresh floral scent drifting over us, RYONA stops in her tracks. "Oh, they're so beautiful," she says. She's like so amazed at it. I have to agree that it makes for quite a sight. A sea of pink, purple, yellow, and blue. Oh my god, that would be so beautiful. Oh my god. "So should we take a look," we say? She nods and we head over, the floral scent hanging heavy in the air the closer we get. There are a couple of young girls using the flowers to braid crowns, and the woman behind the cart encourages us to pick some out to make our own. I'm a little overwhelmed at first. There are so many to choose from, I don't know where to start. I reach out, instinctively picking out the first flower I'm drawn to, the one with... Oh, we have a choice here, so we can choose the thin white petals in the yellow center, a small star-shaped bud, velvety soft red petals, tiny purple and lavender clusters, or delicate pink and white bulbs. I think I'm gonna choose the velvety soft red petals or the tiny purple. You know what, the tiny purple and lavender clusters seem like they'll be more pretty and like more gentle. So I'm gonna choose the purple and lavender clusters. Lilac, they symbolize love and admiration. They grow naturally on Orion, announcing the arrival of spring when they bloom. I pick out a few others, and after paying the woman at the cart, RYONA and I find a bench nearby to sit and start braiding our crowns. While watching RYONA's long, nimble fingers weave the stems around each other, I find myself marveling at how graceful she is. In an attempt to copy her technique, I braid a couple of the stems, letting out a frustrated breath when one of them snaps at the end. A giggle catches my attention, and the feeling of RYONA's shoulder pressed against mine. "Here, let me help," she says. She reaches over to weave the broken stem between a couple of other flowers, keeping it securely in place. "You're good at this," we say. Her eyes crinkle as she smiles at the compliment, and she guides me on how to weave in the next flower. I've had a lot of practice, well, not with flowers. Tilaria weaving is a traditional practice back home. "What kind of things do you weave?" She thinks for a moment, her eyes shining with memories she alone can see. "All sorts of things, tapestries, baskets, sometimes even clothes. We use thread infused with the light of the moon. If the prime goddess Netea wishes to bless us and bestow good fortune on our families, the thread will be illuminated by her sacred energy." Something changes in her face, a dark cloud descending over her fine features. "But if we have displeased her and she chooses to neglect our art, the light will never come." That's somehow both beautiful and terrifying at the same time. RYONA smiles, helping me finish off my crown and make sure it looks halfway decent at least. When it is done, I hold it between my fingers, admiring her work, and RYONA gently takes the crown from my hands and places it on my head. "There, now you're ready for the festival." I would love to explore all night, but I get the feeling that Captain will send out a search party if we're not back soon. "I think you may be right," she says. I help her with her own next, sitting the fragrant crown of flowers over her silver hair, my fingers brushing the soft strands. "Thank you for helping me," we could say, or "you look beautiful," or we can stroke her hair. I'm gonna stroke her hair. I think that's like a really flirty thing to do, like very cheeky. So I'm gonna stroke her hair. And I drag my fingers between her soft strands all the way to the ends. We say nothing. You know what I was thinking about? Like, this thought popped into my head. You know when you haven't like brushed your hair all thoroughly, maybe in the morning or whatever, and somebody, you know, puts their fingers through your hair and kind of like can get stuck on a little knot. For some reason, that's what I imagined, but I'm sure her hair is perfectly combed through. But we say nothing, but somehow even through all the noise surrounding us, I hear her breath catch and stutter. The light illuminating her skin flickers like a firefly, glowing brighter with each passing second. I smile at her, happy that out of everyone in the crew, she's the one who's sitting here with me now. Old lady says, "Oh, what a beautiful young couple." When I look up to find an elderly woman smiling at the two of us fondly and holding a bushy branch of green leaves and dark pink flowers above our heads. She is dressed like a fortune teller, draped fabric and golden beads, making her look even more the part. "Oh, we're not. It is tradition to kiss under the boughs of a myrtle tree during the festival. It will bring happiness and fertility to your relationship for as long as your love continues to blossom," she says. The old lady says. RYONA and I both stare at the old woman, dumbstruck, waiting for the punchline of what is sure to be a joke. When she says nothing else but simply stares at us, a shameless smile on her wrinkled face, my stomach tightens anxiously as I realize it is not a joke, not at all. And when neither of us makes a move, her eyebrows knit together in disappointment. It is tradition. Give the young lady a kiss, won't you? And of course I'm gonna kiss her. I think it's a nice thing. Isn't it? Like we flirted twice with her. She accepted our flirty thing, so warmth pulls in my stomach, and when I turn to RYONA before my nerves have the chance to get the better of me, I'm not sure why I had even hesitated in the first place. A soft blush covers her cheeks, and I find myself wondering if her skin feels as soft and as warm as it looks. Without wasting a second longer, I lean in, brushing my lips against her cheek. RYONA freezes, her skin soft between my lips, and even before I pull away, I notice the way she lights up, a beautiful glow emanating from her pale skin. The old woman, apparently pleased, continues to wander down the street in search of other young couples to meddle with, and I let out a shaky breath of air. Sorry, but it is tradition. How would you know that? Her voice shakes, which is unusual for someone I've come to know as so poised and proper, but she looks so beautiful I cannot help but be dazzled by her. Like the brightest star in the sky, her shimmering skin and bright eyes are enough to push away any and all darkness from my mind. I raise a hand to push a loose strand of silver hair behind her ear, biting back a smile as she trembles beneath my touch. Ziki? The way RYONA says my name feels so right, and I enjoy the effect they seem to have on her. We should probably get going. With a soft nod of her head, RYONA gives me a soft smile and helps me up from the bench, and we head into the crowd together, hand in hand. And what's gonna happen next? Oh my god, it's night now. So we head back to the dry cleaners after that, retrieving the now thankfully normal uniforms, before stepping back out into the street. The sky has turned from orange and pink to a deep inky blue. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I stretch my arms behind my head, letting out a yawn and thinking back on the day with a smile. The memory of how bright RYONA's skin glowed under the touch of my lips is enough to bring a smile to my face. That I was bold enough to actually kiss her still surprises me, and the fact that she didn't pull away even more so. We should get back to the ship, now that the captain is wondering where we are by now. Definitely, he's like a very strict captain, so I think we gotta go, right? And I wouldn't want to spoil such a nice day by ending it with one of his lectures, would we? Her smile makes my chest tighten, thoughts of her warm skin making my lips tingle with yearning. Thank you for today, RYONA, we say. A soft blush tingles her skin, and it's impossible for me to keep myself from pushing her just a bit further. I hope you had as much fun as I did today. With the flower crowns? Not only that, I decided not to give her the time to respond, offering her an arm for our trek back to the ship instead, which she takes with a smile, biting down on her lip to hide her blush. I find myself wondering what she's thinking in this moment. Did she enjoy the kiss I gave her earlier, or she's saying nothing only to be polite? With a shake of my head to clear any unwarranted thoughts, I adjust the pack of clothes on my shoulder and we head back to the ship. And as we head into Opal's junkyard and towards the ship, leaving the city lights and the boisterous crowd that has taken over the streets, continuing their celebrations for the festival of Valen, a few specks of blinking lights catch my eye. I steer towards them, pebbles and sand crunching between my feet as I veer around the various piles of scrap metal scattered throughout the lot. And we're going to go where the cactuses are, or the cacti, I should say. It doesn't take long until I've cleared the yard, finding myself in an open field with several cacti in full bloom, and I realize the specks of light are fireflies bobbing through the air like tiny yellow stars. Wow, look at all this! The sound of footsteps crunching over sand and gravel alerts me to RYONA's presence as she comes up next to me, her eyes wide and bright at the sight in front of her. You really like plants, huh? I cannot deny it, RYONA says. But it's so unusual for such a wide bunch of cacti to bloom in such close proximity to the city. It just truly is curious. Are the fireflies this unusual as well? As if on cue with my words, a pair of fireflies break from the posse and make their way towards us, spinning around each other in what I can only assume is a mating dance. The lights coming from them flicker like stars, so bright and fleeting. I'm gonna say it is like fate, and I'm gonna flirt with her, obviously. We're going like full throttle on this one, so flirt with her. It's almost like it was fate. How so? RYONA asks. My breath catches on my throat when I turn to look at her, the joke I had on the tip of my tongue long gone. RYONA is much closer than I imagined, and the way the fireflies' light that reflect on her skin makes her look like an angel. Are you alright? I've never been better. My mind immediately races back to that kiss, a single, brief, chaste kiss, and it's been enough to plague my very soul throughout the day. And heavens only know for how much longer that will last. I wonder if it tugged at the edges of her mind as well, if she paid it any thought after it was over. Earlier, the kiss, did I like it? What would I do if I said yes? My breath catches in my throat, and not letting my own insecurity stop me, I wrap my hand softly around against her wrists, pulling her closer to me until we're but a breath apart. Her voice is soft, but her eyes carry enough weight to make it clear she had meant it. I lean in, taking in the brightness of her skin, every speck of amber in her golden eyes, as she too leans forward. The moment is interrupted by the loud whooshing sound of the ship's landing door opening, and we both immediately pull back, eyes fixed firmly on the ground. We should get back inside. It's late and I wouldn't want you to get a cold. I'm sorry for keeping us. And I'm sorry we just got interrupted. I chuckle at her attempt to fix me with a serious look, but all I pay attention to is the flushed look in her eyes and as the smile twists the corners of her lips before she turns around and walks off to the ship. Oh my god. As I focus on the pebbles under my feet, I'm pretty sure we'll get an earful from the captain, but all in all, it was a fun day. I'm glad I got to enjoy the festival of Valen with RYONA. Happy Valentine's Day, even though it's not Valentine's Day, but you get the whole gist of it, so I really enjoyed this RYONA path, I have to say. Let me just go back here to the beginning screen. So like I said, I really enjoyed this this path with RYONA, or this route, I should say. I definitely, like I said earlier, I definitely do think that they made sure, the developers, that each route has just a little bit of a shift from the other one, from the other ones. For example, there was no games like there was with Damon or June, I think it was. There was no festival games, and this one was different. We got to braid some flower crowns. We got to choose a flower that we wanted to use for the flower crowns. I think it definitely is worth it. It has a lot of a replay value. It's worth it to try all of the routes, and that's what I'm gonna be doing in the next the coming days. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you want to see some more Andromeda 6 videos and some more visual novels. I do quite a lot of visual novels and indie games here on the channel, and yeah, I really enjoy this. RYONA has got to be one of my favorite characters, like I said earlier. Even though I enjoy all of them, Calderon is very different, and Damon is very beautiful. Ayame is definitely up there as well, but RYONA has to be one of the first characters that actually caught my attention. So she's definitely one of my favorites. I hope that she's one of your favorites too, and I hope that you enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment down below for the person that you want me to do the route next. For example, if you want Calderon, just drop me a comment saying Calderon or something like that. I really would appreciate that. But yeah, stay tuned for the future videos. They'll be coming very soon, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.